Prepare to grip the edge of your seat with Netflix's 10 best horror movies. From relentless suspense to shocking twists, these chilling picks blur the line between fear and adrenaline. Number 10, Christmas Bloody Christmas. On Christmas Eve, record store owner Tori just wants to close up her shop, drink with her friends, and forget about everything else. But her holiday night takes a violent turn when a defective robotic Santa Claus, originally designed for military use, malfunctions and stalks the snowy streets as a relentless killing machine. As neon lights flash against swirling snow, the robot Santa slaughters anyone in its path, dragging Tori and her closest allies into a brutal fight for survival amidst exploding Christmas decorations and chaotic carnage. Directed and written by Joe Bigos, this slasher sprays gore and dark humor across the holiday backdrop, blending old-school bloodshed with a twisted seasonal twist. Number 9, The Elixer. A once respected herbalist brews a powerful elixir deep in the jungles of Indonesia, hoping to cure the incurable and restore his broken family's legacy. But the potion doesn't heal. It corrupts. Those who take it rise again, hungry and mindless, spreading like wildfire through the village. As the infection consumes everything, his estranged children are forced to reunite and survive the horrors their father unleashed. With machetes in hand and guilt in their hearts, they must face a nightmare born from blood and ambition. Directed by Kimo Stamboil, The Elixir blends zombie terror with traditional mysticism, where ancient remedies birth modern ruin. Number 8, Sumala.
Bapak Ibu nggak pernah cerita kalau kamu punya kembaran.
In a forgotten village wrapped in silence, a grieving twin begins to hear whispers of her dead sister, Sumala, a child murdered at birth to erase a shameful secret. But the past does not sleep. As nights grow longer, shadows stretch across cornfields, and those who once stood silent begin to vanish one by one. Eyes stare from the dark, and a lullaby long buried returns with a scream. Kumala must face her family's sins as the spirit of her sister grows stronger, feeding on pain, fear, and guilt. Directed by Rizal Mantovani, this chilling Indonesian ghost tale draws its terror from twisted bonds and ancient curses. When blood ties rot beneath the surface, something cold and merciless rises to take its place. Number 7, a classic horror story. Five strangers carpool through the Italian countryside, but when their RV crashes in the middle of nowhere, they wake to find themselves trapped in a twisted woodland nightmare that seems ripped from every horror film ever made. Wooden effigies hang from the trees, a strange cabin appears without explanation, and masked cultists begin their ritual hunt. As reality fractures, the survivors realize they're caught in something far worse than fiction, a nightmare scripted with blood and deception. Directed by Roberto De Feo, this metafictional horror turns tropes against the viewer, where nothing is what it seems and every scream is part of something sinister behind the curtain. Number 6, Hard Eyes. On Valentine's night, two office workers stay late, trying to avoid the world. But something else is already inside. A masked killer known only as Hard Eyes is stalking the city, slicing through couples with surgical precision and leaving behind blood-soaked symbols of love gone wrong. Mistaken for lovers, Allie and Jay are thrust into a deadly game of survival, dodging death through candlelit alleys and shattered flower shops. As their bond deepens under fire, the killer grows more obsessed and the night spirals into a bloodbath wrapped in red and pink. Directed by Josh Rubin, this holiday slasher paints Valentine's Day in arterial spray and twisted romance, where every heartbeat could be your last, and love is a target marked in crimson. Number 5, Thanksgiving.
I don't want to spend my life looking over my shoulder. We need to stop him.
Plymouth, Massachusetts, the birthplace of the holiday, becomes the hunting ground of a masked killer dressed as a colonial pilgrim who slashes his way through the town after a Black Friday tragedy leaves deep scars. 1 year later, cryptic invitations, sharpened axes, and hollowed-out victims mark the beginning of a new tradition soaked in vengeance. As the townspeople try to carry on, they're picked off one by one in grisly, thematic ways tied to the feast they once celebrated. Directed by Eli Roth, this holiday horror carves through small-town secrets with relentless brutality and tongue-in-cheek satire. The table is set, the knives are out, and this year no one gets to say grace before the screaming starts. Number 4. Cobweb. 8-year-old Peter lives in a quiet suburban home with strict, overbearing parents who say everything they do is to protect him. But when he starts hearing knocks behind the bedroom wall and whispers from the darkness, his fragile world begins to splinter. The voice tells him secrets, terrible ones, about what lies beneath the floorboards and the truth lurking within his own family. As Peter digs deeper, the terror inside the house begins to leak out, and the line between imagination and reality collapses. Directed by Samuel Bodan, Cobweb wraps childhood fear in a suffocating blanket of silence, secrets, and something crawling in the dark. Number 3. 28 years later.
Rolling up and down again! That's all the charge in the world!
Nearly 3 decades after the rage virus ravaged Britain, a small community of survivors ekes out a fragile existence on a tidal island, cut off from the infected chaos that still consumes the mainland. When 12-year-old Spike and his father Jamie venture across the causeway for a coming-of-age hunt, they confront evolved horrors that blur the line between predator and nightmare. Amid this brutal world, Spike carries the weight of his ailing mother Isla, driven by hope and fear into the deadliest parts of the quarantined mainland in search of answers and salvation. Directed by Danny Boyle, this post-apocalyptic horror blends relentless undead terror with the emotional crucible of family bonds and survival instinct. Number 2. The Cursed. In the late 1800s, a wealthy land baron slaughters a Romani clan to seize their sacred land. But from the soil they cursed, something monstrous takes root. Soon his village is plagued by visions, nightmares, and brutal deaths that defy nature. Children disappear. Bodies are found savaged. A silver fang unearthed near the site of the massacre becomes the key to a transformation no one can stop. When pathologist John arrives, he uncovers a horrifying truth. This is no simple curse, but a spreading infection that turns men into beasts. Directed by Sean Ellis, The Cursed delivers a grim, atmospheric werewolf tale wrapped in folklore and tragedy. The evil stalking this land wears the face of both man and monster, and once bitten, there is no redemption, only hunger. Number 1. Deadstream.
Douchebag! Somebody help me!
Desperate to reclaim his disgraced online fame, controversial streamer Sean Ruddy locks himself overnight in a haunted house and live streams every moment. But what begins as a stunt quickly spirals into a waking nightmare when he awakens the true terror buried within its walls. Alone, cornered, and hunted by something ancient and furious, his camera never stops rolling, even as his screams echo through rotting halls and his chat feed becomes a graveyard of emoji and disbelief. Directed by Joseph and Vanessa, Deadstream blends found footage horror with razor-sharp satire, turning influencer culture into a blood-soaked descent into supernatural chaos. Here are 4 other movies you have to see. Nobody Sleeps in the Woods Tonight. A group of tech-addicted teenagers are sent to an off-grid, phone-free camp deep in the forest for a weekend retreat. What is meant to break their dependence on devices quickly turns into a deadly ordeal when a mysterious killer begins stalking the woods. Cut off from the outside world and hunted through the trees, they must fight to survive the relentless threat. Silent Hill.
What's happening? Oh!
Rose searches for her missing adopted daughter and is drawn to the eerie, fog-shrouded town of Silent Hill after clues point there. Once inside the ghostly streets and abandoned buildings, reality shifts and nightmarish creatures emerge from the pervasive darkness. The town's haunting secrets and unsettling cult history reveal themselves as Rose delves deeper into Silent Hill's mysteries. Until dawn.
Oh, what? Is it gone?
Yeah, it's gone.
What? It's still in my face!
After her sister's mysterious disappearance, Clover leads a group of friends into a remote valley where the missing trail seems to end. Once there, they find themselves caught in a supernatural time loop that forces them to relive a night of escalating horrors repeatedly. Masked threats and monstrous creatures stalk them as they search for a way to break the cycle and survive until dawn. Hellhole. Set in 1987 Poland, a police officer investigating mysterious disappearances infiltrates a remote monastery with a dark reputation. Inside the ancient walls, he encounters unsettling rituals and hidden secrets that defy explanation. As he digs deeper into the strange occurrences tied to the clergy, the truth about the monastery's sinister activities begins to surface.